Okay, so welcome to this guide where we'll be talking about how to customize your get things done storyboards for yourself. So let's start with the problem here. The biggest problem we have is when you go to the general, to the GTD storyboard or Notion, is yes, it's designed, you don't have to really touch anything here. But then at times, the sort of entries get too many that you do have to put in a filter. So let's imagine without filters, you can see that you go ahead and you have a really extensive list, but then you really don't care about all that. You want to only look at lists that are fit for you. So I'll go ahead and add a filter over there. And the first filter I'll look at is probably the owner is equal to my name, in this case, 0. And that could be the first thing. However, I probably just don't want to do it for everyone. For every sprint, I probably want to filter out and only view things for my particular sprint. So I'll go ahead and add a filter like that. And then decide that I'm now focused on sprint 2. And that's good. And I'm able to kind of get this sort of customization. The big problem with this is when you do this filtering, and probably I'll go ahead and say I want to sort based on prioritization and all that kind of stuff. These are very individual things for me to add in. Probably I don't want to sort based on prioritization. That's a general one. Probably I want to sort based on status. Is it in progress? Is it not started or not? That's a particular thing. While this does help you go through your board, the biggest problem of doing this on the storyboard main page is whatever filters you have will have an effect on everyone else's pages. So now when someone else opens their Notion board, they'll only be able to see my tasks that have been filtered for sprint 2 as well. And this is not something you want. So we always try to avoid adding filters over here because it affects how other people view that storyboard as well. You want to leave this storyboard as raw as possible with a general sort of sorting, which for us is you want to sort based on sprint. So we always sort based on sprint as the first thing, and then within the sprint we'll sort based on prioritization as well, and then expected hours. Okay, so those are the general ones. You don't want to change the general settings. So what should you do when you want to kind of customize your board for yourself in the best way possible? What you will realize is on the Notion tab here, you'll have an option for private pages. You can see I already have a private page here, which is where I put my quick notes. So on this private page, I can just go ahead and create a private page. And when I create that private page, I'll go ahead and call it my task list. And now, once I have my task list there, I'll be able to pull this sort of database. Okay, let me just do a bit of beautification here. I can add in an icon like that. That represents tasks, I hope. So let's go ahead and do this. So under my task list, what you're going to do is we're going to search for linked database. And you'll see here, create a linked database. And when you click on that, it's going to ask you to create to kind of choose a database you want to link to. And that's when I go ahead and choose the get things done storyboard. And now on my task list, I have that. Now, because this is on my private page, I can go ahead and input my filters and views without affecting everyone else in my team. But at the same time, when I add content, it still appears over there. So now I can go ahead and say that I want to add a filter because this is my personal board. I can add a filter that one, I only want this to be my own tasks. So that's the first thing. And then the second layer is I also want to add a filter whereby I just want to be working on things that are not completed. So anything that is not completed are the things I want to focus on. So that will be it. So long as status is not completed and it is mine, then that's all I want to be seeing on that particular filter. So that's the first sort of customization I can make. I can go ahead and add personal views. So probably I want to see this as a board. I'll go ahead and add a view and choose board view. And you can see when I get to board view, I can go there and click create. And now in my board view, I don't want to view my board in terms of sprints. I want to group, and I'm going to group by not sprint, but rather status. So yes. Now I've been able to kind of customize how I view my things. I have my own view that's different. So probably I want to have completed on this side. I probably want to have not started here. I probably want to have deprioritized before not started. And then in progress, in review completed, that's fasting. So probably I also want to add in another view, which is also my personal view here. What else would I see? Let's just say, yeah, I want to add in a gallery, not really. Let's say timeline. So for tasks of mine that have a deadline, I also want to create a timeline view for myself. Okay. Now this is just the sort of possibilities you have available to you. And then there we go. And now I also have a timeline view of my tasks. I don't know how this is going to come out, but whenever I have a deadline, I can use this for me. Now, what you will realize is by having this on a private page and using the linked database system, I am able to kind of focus on my tasks, right? And kind of make sure that I customize this board for my own needs without affecting everyone else in the team. And you can see that's what I've done here with my filtering and all. And the big advantage here that you will see is if I go ahead and add a new task. So let's say here I'll go ahead and say in sprint 2, I want to add like a test task. And then we can leave all the other things. Let's just say we want to give it 100% prioritization so that it can come to the top. And I also want to say that this is going to take me 20 hours. So that's okay, so that it's coming at the top. You'll be able to see that despite this being a linked database, whatever content you add over here will still end up appearing on the main page, which is the Get Things Done dashboard. And now when I go to that page, you can see my test task is here and it's well set. So because it's a linked database, it means whatever sort of content modification or additions you add appears on the main database, but you're able to individualize your views, your filters, and sorts for your own personal needs. And that's one way to be productive with Notion.